Hello and welcome to the AdventureAmigos.net video review for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. First of all, I'm going to go spoiler free, and then I will go into some quite heavy spoilers, but I will give you a warning. The first movie in the Amazing Spider-Man series really set the tone. It nicely forged a path that I feel, personally, has adapted some very nice, interesting elements of the Spider-Man mythos, and also introducing their own elements, such as this huge mysterious past that his parents have. And I am actually quite thankful and glad to see that pushed and continue further in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The opening scene for the film is in fact a flashback to get a little bit more information on his parents, so that is nice to see. It also wastes no time whatsoever in getting into the action. That opening scene is quite a frolicking, action-packed, fast-paced and thrilling ride. So before the movie's even begun, we are swept off our feet, which I think is good. The first scene with Spider-Man in happens immediately after. It is a nice kind of romp, very Spider-Man-y indeed. The new costume is shown off at length in the opening minutes of the film, and it is absolutely the best-looking Spider-Man costume that we have seen on film yet. Not only is Andrew Garfield's physique the most suited to Spider-Man, but this costume with the bright white or brilliant white eyes and the black rims just looks really as if it's jumped off the comic book panel. It really does. Looks fantastic. The costume would be difficult to fault now. And that is one thing that is so good. Mark Webb, I do like his direction in this. Very lively and energetic. And all the poses and acrobats that Spider-Man does is bang on and perfect. And also in these opening minutes we see the humour is very funny and just bang on to what Spider-Man should be. We return to the relationship of Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man, and that is a very strong theme running all throughout the film. Again, their chemistry is so fantastic that it is a pleasure to watch them, and it's nice to see new players brought in that also work well with Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. Specifically, I'm talking about Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn. He is absolutely fantastic in the film. He was, when I heard he was cast and I saw the initial teaser trailer, I was over the moon. I think he looked phenomenal. I like his quite emo-ish look with the swept over fashionable hair and the moodiness. Just awesome. And the portrayal in the film itself probably exceeded my expectations. I really did think he was excellent. Certainly not going to be so bold as to claim that we're talking about Heath Ledger levels of psychotic awesome acting, but certainly I think Dane DeHaan should be proud of this, and I think he was phenomenal as this psychotic Harry Osborn. Really, really good and creepy, haunting, also amusing in his own dark way. Very good. Where the film slightly falls down for me is that it is a little bit cheesy in places. Things like the Electro character pre-transformation, incredibly goofy, weird, strange, and in terms of his motivation for being a Spider-Man villain, it's very old school, very cheesy, and not at all, I say not at all modern, very left a slight sour taste in my mouth. And that's probably my major criticism of the film, is that it's a bit too cheesy and it feels a bit old school in places. I feel that particularly the comic book movie genre, or superhero genre I should be more specific as to say, has moved on from the kind of character motivation that we see in Electro. But there we have it. And that does include the transformation itself. I thought we'd move past this kind of thing, but apparently not. But that's fine. Dane DeHaan and Andrew Garfield's chemistry really, really impressed me. That was one of the joyous things to watch. I could have watched them bounce off each other all day. Really enjoyed every scene with them in. The action in the film is superb. There is plenty of action, and it's all very well thought out. There's plenty of slow motion, which I'm personally a fan of. It allows you to see Spider-Man's quick thinking and the action, and the way that he uses his mind as well as his power to overcome and save individuals, overcome great evil, whatnot. Yeah, it's just done very well. I wouldn't say that the choreography is any better than the original The Amazing Spider-Man, not the original trilogy of Spider-Man, gosh, because it didn't particularly jump out at me. But having said that, the action is so good, and it's well directed rather than choreographed, I'd probably say this time. Particularly the finale is explosive and massive, and I found it very thrilling indeed. I forgot to mention the soundtrack. Absolutely loved the soundtrack. It was really kind of weird and strange, not your typical soundtrack by any means. There was even a bit of dubstep in there. Really loved that, and I really felt that it was worth mentioning. So, sorry for this wobbly cam interlude. Back to the normal review. The extended cast is also very good. I thought everyone was fantastic. Emma Stone put in a superb performance as usual. Sally Field as Aunt May, again, excellent. Some really heartwarming and touching moments that she had with Peter. One of the strong things that I feel about the film, that I mentioned briefly at the start of this review, is that I love the elements that they've decided to adapt. They've taken the things that I love about Spider-Man, the way that he looks, the way he is, he's intelligent, smart, quippy. Then they've inserted, or I suppose they've adapted the mysterious parents elements that you do see a little bit in the Ultimate Universe of comics, but then they've inserted their own things as well. I really like that. But then they've left out things that I'm personally not such a fan of. Things like J. Jonah Jameson. You know, he gets a nod in this film, but he's not in it by any means, which I was really a fan of, because I find the whole J. Jonah Jameson and the whole Spider-Man is a menace side of the Spider-Man mythos, to be honest, exhausting and boring and unrealistic. I'll go into spoilers now, so if you're wanting to avoid the spoilers, tune in at a later date. So here you with spoilers now. Why on the poster for the film is Rhino in it? You know, Rhino is a throwaway character at the beginning and the end of the film, bookending it, if you will. And this huge suit that he's in at the very end is really nothing more than a throwaway scene. It's not too important to the plot. It serves mainly as a teaser for what's coming up. There's this common criticism of superhero movies, is that when they have too many villains, they become overcrowded, you don't spend enough time on each individual character, and it just becomes a mess of a film. You just need to look at things like Batman and Robin as an example of that. I feel that too many villains, or a lot of villains, isn't necessarily a problem. If you look at the X-Men movies, they do it very well, and trying desperately to think of another example. But I contest that if the writing is strong enough, it can support multiple villains. But yeah, this marketing with them being on the poster was a little bit misleading, because Rhino is barely in it. Green Goblin is only really in one pivotal action scene. It's strange, it's just a strange choice. And again, another thing that I found really odd is that the teaser at the end of the film of the Sinister Six is in the trailer. This is supposed to be like a teaser for upcoming films, and they put that in there. Really odd. But there we have it. One thing that I will say is that I was glad they adapted the death of Gwen Stacy. I personally think it was a very well done scene, nicely adapted. Almost I feel as though in the comic book mythos, Spider-Man saves Gwen Stacy using his web and it breaks her neck. I feel that this was done in quite a nice way, almost like a compromise, as if he did do it you could say that her neck was broken as a result of Spider-Man, but she almost hit the floor at the same time anyway. So he may not have been super directly responsible. I was very thrilled by the entire thing, and I think the whole lead up of the film, having them, clearly it was heavily foreshadowed, but having their relationship, you know, developed to the point that it did, we feel that these characters really do need each other and show great emotion for each other as well. It hurt when she died, and I think the montage after her death of Spider-Man standing at the grave was very well done. Overall, I think the villain or villains were good. I think Electro was good, not amazing. I think that Harry Osborn was excellent, but I would say that it is on par with the original. I don't think it's mind-blowing, but I did enjoy it a hell of a lot. I did enjoy it a lot. So I would still give it 4 stars. One tiny minor thing that I will go into is how insulting it was to see this post-credits trailery snippet scene from Days of Future Past. So strange. It was pegged as if it was, because I mean the credits just flickered off. The X-Men door came up, so the people who stay behind in the cinema are the die-hard fans, the hardcore fans, and they are probably, as I did, going to be immediately thinking, oh my god, they're linking Spider-Man to X-Men, this is crazy. But no, it's just a trailer for Days of Future Past. From what I've read online, it was something that Sony may have had no choice in doing, but that just makes me think very poorly on Fox. I think it's a really Terrible move, but that's business, I guess. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Subscribe for more awesome reviews from AdventureAmigos.net, and don't forget to check the site. Thanks. Goy.